Folks, this is Tory Vent up here in Olympia, Washington. Here's a little YouTube workup for the October 2022 album that's going on YouTube. Name of this song is When the Work's All Done This Fall, and it was recorded by Vernon Dalhart, who was the foremost recording artist of the 20th century, and many other people have recorded it, and it was popular in the early part of the 20th century. Way I heard about this, I was going to a music jam up at Ording at the Soldiers' Home, and one of the old soldiers who was about 81 or 83, somewhere in that age range at the time, borrowed my guitar, and he started playing this song, and he went through it, and I said, well, that's a pretty good song. He said, yeah, he says, my dad taught it to me, and so that's been like 25 years ago, and so I went and dug it up on an old Vernon Dalhart recording and wrote it down, and I looked for it in my books and I didn't find it, so I'm going to do it from memory. Uh, let's see here. We'll give you a little melody here on the harmonica. Okay, let's see how we do it here. We got it in the gear of a B flat, third fret on the capo, and play it in G. Voice is getting a little cracky here. My phone's still a little bit contaminated with THC, and I've had it back more than a week now. And I think the box that came in sitting over here a little bit too close, but I can feel it. A group of jolly cowboys discussing plans at ease. Said one, I'll tell you something, boys, if you will listen, please. I am an old cowpuncher, boys, although I'm dressed in rags. I used to be a bad one and take on great big jags. But I still have a home, boys, and a good one, you all know. Although I have not seen it, boys, since very long ago. I'm going back to Dixie once more to see them all. I'm gonna see my mother when the work's all done this fall. When I left my happy home, boys, my mother for me cried. She begged me not to leave her, boys, for me she would have died. Now my mother's heart is aching for a wandering boy, that's all. And with God's help I'll see her when the work's all done this fall. That very night the cowboy went out to stand his guard. The night was dark and cloudy and a storming very hard. The cattle all got frightened and they rushed in wild stampede. The cowboy tried to head them while riding at full speed. While riding in the darkness so loudly he did shout, he tried his best to head them and turn the herd about. But his saddle pony stumbled and on the boy did fall. Now he won't see his mother when the work's all done this fall. George, you may take my saddle, and Bill, you take my bed. Jack, you can have my pistol, for I will soon be dead. I'm a going to a new range and I hear the master's call. And I won't see my mother when the work's all done this fall. Just send my mother my wages, the wages I have earned, for I'll not live to see her, my last year I have turned. Please think of me kindly when you look up on the mall, for I'll not see my mother when the work's all done this fall. They buried him at sunrise, no tombstone at his head, nothing but a little slab, and this is what it said. Poor Charlie died at daybreak, and his saddle horse did fall, and he won't see his mother when the work's all done this fall. And my dad knew that song, and probably a lot in his generation, you know, people born in the early part of the 20th century, yeah, there we go, in the 1900s. Okay, you might be interested in this shirt that I've got on. This fella here is the first casualty of the Cold War. I'll tell you how it came about. During World War II, he was a captain in the intelligence corps of the Army Air Corps, working in China with the national government of China, and they were fighting both the Chinese Communists and the Japanese at that time. And about 3 days after the Japanese had surrendered and their troops were heading back to Japan, this fella here was out on a patrol with the nationals, and he took small arms fire from a Chinese communist soldier, and he was killed by a Chinese communist about 3 days after World War II. So he was the first casualty of the Cold War. His name is Captain John Birch, and before he was a captain in the Army Air Corps Intelligence Corps, he was a minister, and he may have been a missionary too, being as how he was in liaison with the Chinese. He might have had some ability. I don't know about that, but in 1958, a group of super anti-communist Republicans, civilians down in Southern California, down below LA there, formed a group called the John Birch Society. So this is Captain John Birch, and he probably wasn't political at all. He was probably more religious than anything else in a soldier, but maybe he never even voted. I think he was born in 1924, if I'm not mistaken. And no, wait a minute. No, he was born earlier than that. I think he was. Well, I can't tell you. He was. I think he was 27 when he died. Anyway, so 27 from 45, whatever that makes. And I had these shirts made up a few years ago. Had minimum order of 12, I think, and I had them made up in Tacoma. And I took a picture of John Birch, and I contrasted it out, and then did the lettering and all that, and I had a shirt man make it up, but the shirts are all gone. I got a couple left, and some other people have them, but no longer available. But if there's any call for them, we could redo them. But thanks for listening to this song and listening to the story. And now you know the story of the shirt, because I wear lots of different shirts while I'm making these videos, and this one is of a particular historical interest. Okay, thank you.